If you want to get your life back on track, Atomic Habits outlines a simple way to improve your life every day. James Clear, one of the world's leading experts on habit building, teaches you how to build good habits and break bad ones. You'll also learn how to recognize how small daily habits can have an incredible impact on your life and your future if you find yourself struggling to change your habits. Introduction. If you do, the problem is not you, but your system. You see, your brain is primed to perform activities that are easy and lead to instant gratification. Fortunately, James Clear offers a proven system that will help you change your habits and change your life. Through this book, you'll learn how to find time for new habits. So, let's begin with Booksica. Chapter 1. Why small habits make big differences when it comes to success. Too many people get focused on the wrong thing. They focus on the end goal versus the journey to get there and believe that big decisions will lead them to their end. However, this couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, every 1% improvement a day means you will be 37 times better than you were once, but if you drop even 1% a day, you will almost be at zero. In other words, small habits make the difference. That's what makes the biggest difference. For example, a plane traveling from Los Angeles to New York needs a specific direction to reach its final destination. Imagine if the pilot adjusted its course just 3.5 degrees south. To the average observer, it may be nothing. The adjustment is so small that many people won't even notice. Of course, upon takeoff, passengers will notice a big difference. That small adjustment will cloud their final destination from New York to Washington, D.C. We usually make small changes, but don't pay attention to it because the effect is not visible immediately. The effect may not be seen for months or years, but the results can be huge. For example, by eating a slice of pizza, you will not be sure. However, if you eat every night, if you eat a slice of pizza for dinner, you will probably see a change in posture over the course of 1 year. Similarly, taking a 30-minute yoga class a day won't make you fit instantly. It's the small habits that grow over time that grow into big ones. Clouds in results are casts. Results in life are maps of habits. A person's total wealth is only a map of his habits. Thus a person's health is a map of his daily habits. Diet results. Time makes the difference between success and failure. This is the reason why our daily choices affect the story more than we think. If you want to predict where you will reach in life, just follow your daily choices. Bad habits can affect us just as we can develop a good habit as easily as we do. This is why it is important to understand how you can design your daily habits to your advantage. The key is to make small changes in your behavior that can be repeated over and over again. Repeatedly, such habits will be formed which will lead to big results. Chapter 2: How Habits Are Divided. How many times you start a good habit like exercise or meditation, but after a few weeks you find that it is only a habit? Changing habits is a challenge, because many people try to change in the wrong way or try to change the wrong things. To change our habits, we must first understand how habits are divided. Creation can be classified into stages: signal, craving, response, and reward. Think. In this big answer, the first time you sit in your car, what do? You probably have the key in the ignition. Your seatbelt is on, your pupil checked and then went on his way. You don't even think big, you just do it. It's a habit you've repeated so many times. It becomes natural and automatic. Then habits. How are habits divided? Habits begin with a signal or trigger to act. For example, sitting in your car prompts you to perform an action that will take you from one destination to another. The second stage is a yearning for a change in state. You want to go story. The reaction is to tax and walk. The last step reward the feeling of relief or comfort that comes from arriving safely at your destination. However, when we engage in unhealthy habits or bad habits, we see the effects years later and it becomes difficult to break the habits. That's why it is important to understand the habit cycle so that you can learn to use your cues to create better habits. How to change responses and rewards. Let's take a look at how you can start to build better habits. Chapter 3. Make it clear. When it comes to cues like the buzzing of our phones or sipping coffee, we need to stop checking our messages or drinking our coffee. Teeth brushing is motivated, but once you understand how our actions can be influenced by certain stimuli, you can learn to heed your cues to implement better habits. For example, in I Sach General Hospital Primary Care Medicine, Other Thorndike believed he had the power to improve the eating habits of thousands of hospital staff and visitors by fairing his environment. He replaced soda with bottled water in the refrigerator next to the cash register. But she didn't stop there. She left bottle-banned water at every drink point in the cafeteria. 3 Mina sales of bottle-banned water increased by 25.8% while soda sales decreased by 11.4%. By making simple adjustments, people make healthier choices because the urge to drink water was more prevalent than soda. You see, the most powerful sensory capacity in humans is our vision. The human body has about 11 million sensory receptors and about 10 million are dedicated to vision alone. In other words, visual cues are one of the supreme motivators for behavior. So a small change in what we see can make a big difference in what we do. Fortunately, we can design our environment to our advantage. If you want to make it a habit to practice guitar, if you keep your guitar banded in a box in your cupboard, you will be less likely to practice. In the middle of the room, if you want to eat healthier, put snacks on the counter in the pantry to hide the story. If you want to work out more, just lay out your workout clothes and sneakers the night before so you can see them when you wake up. Visual cues creating can draw attention to your deprivation habit. In addition, you can create deprivation cues by practicing. This simply means that you are going to plan in advance. When you plan, you will be able to stick to your habits. For example, a study of voters in the United States found that citizens who were asked what time you would vote and how you would get to the polling station were more likely to vote than those who were only asked whether they would vote. Story: they were more likely to come and vote than they were. So say this to yourself at dinner time. You're going to exercise more often. Make a plan and say, on Monday, Wednesday and Friday, I'll go to spin class after come, and then bag a bag to bring with you for less and leave it on the seat next to your tax so that it is in plain sight. Chapter 4. Make it attractive. Clothing hymns on us everyday. Domestic society. How to make anything more attractive. There is a barrage of advertisements aimed at the society. Society has become India from exaggerated versions of reality as we engineer our images with ideal lighting, Photoshop editing and exaggerated features to make products more appealing and attractive to consumers. The same applies to our habits. The more attractive something is, the more likely we are to make it a habit. You see, when we do something pleasurable, like eating or having sex, our brain releases dopamine. Salt is to release hormones that make us feel good, but we don't actually need to do those activities. When we anticipate those pleasurable activities as well, encourages and rewards us by feeling good. Remember feeling the excitement of Christmas morning as a child? It's because children await the arrival of presents and Santa. Their brains release dopamine, which triggers Christmas. Of course, some activities that make us feel good are not necessarily good for us. For example, people easily become addicted to sex, drugs, claims, and hymns. Everything that makes them feel good before and during activity, however, has an impact on our health and our relationships. That's why it's important to use our knowledge to our advantage when it comes to creating good healthy habits. Making a habit of something we look forward to makes us more likely to follow through. The temptation to do so is from the middle of bundling. The purpose of the temptation banned sex is to make habits more attractive. It reduces when you link something you want to do with something you need to do. For example, Rhona Bunn, an engineering student in Ireland, decided she needed to exercise more but didn't want to exercise more. A problem that many of us can relate to. Another thing that we can probably relate to is the fact that Ron enjoyed watching Netflix. His solution was that he hacked an exercise bike and connected it to his laptop. Although he didn't want to just watch Netflix while riding, so he wrote a code that allowed Netflix to play only when he was cycling at a certain speed. In the end, it clouded his activity, which he hated, and made him lose his activity that he enjoyed, while Ron had the know-how to hack the exercise bike and write code to help bundle up the temptations. You don't need to be an engineer to apply this tip to your habits on the treadmill. Simply downloading your favorite show to watch or rewarding yourself with a half hour of Netflix after completing a task are both great ways to make your habits more engaging. Chapter 5. Make It Easy. University of Florida professor Jadusselman started a project SOAP for his film photography students to submit at the end of the semester. He divided the students into two groups. The first group was told that their grade depended on the mantra of the photos they submitted. For example, 100 photos received 90 photos, 80 photos received, etc. However, the other group will be graded based on the quality of only one photo according to which group you belong to, earned at the end of the semester. I am able to eat my skills while the quality group just spent their time getting a photo perfect. This concept can be applied to our habits too. Too often people focus too much on finding the best angle, so they never take action. They can plan and strategize but never act on the habits they want to form. That's why the key to mastering any habit is to stop worrying about how much of the new habit you want to form. It will take time to make it easy and easy to do, as humans are motivated to do asanas the more energy a habit requires, the less likely it is to be repeated. Of course, making a difficult habit easy. It may sound impossible, but there are many tips and tricks to make even the toughest habits easy. For example, sending cards for birthdays and condolence, etc. is a good habit, but going to shop is one of them. To write a message and end it. Attempting to send it in person creates friction and makes us less likely to do so. However, the author's wife has devised a hack to make the card sending habit a little easier by buying cards in bulk and storing them in the house. By doing this, the author and his wife are more likely to send the card they made easy. You can also use this tool to break bad habits. The best way to break a bad habit is to make it impractical. For example, if you want to get rid of the habit of watching TV when you come home less often, unplug the television and remove the batteries from the remote. You will be less likely to turn on the TV and spend your time creating a new healthy habit. Another way to make habit making easy is the 2-minute rule. The premise is to start small and make the habit easy. For example, telling yourself this at mealtimes: you need to study for class. You start with the basic buttons can and tell yourself to open my notes. Or maybe you want to make a habit of doing some yoga after work. This is the time to eat. I have to do yoga for 30 minutes. Chapter 6. Make it satisfying. The final step to building a long-term habit is to make it gratifying. Successful companies understand this concept and use it to their advantage. Success came when they added peppermint to their products. Minutes encouraged people to enjoy the act of brushing their teeth because it created a satisfying peppermint crown feeling. If an experience is not satisfactory, it cannot be repeated. Stephen in the 1990s. Greedy worked as a public health researcher in a neighborhood in Karachi, Pakistan. During his time there, Lubin achieved a 52% reduction in diarrhea among local children, as well as a 48% drop in the incidence of pneumonia and a 35% drop in skin infections. How did he achieve this? By presenting good soap. If you grow up in a Western society, you understand the importance of hand washing as a basic hygiene skill. Lubin recognized the need for a good soap to make the act of hand washing a satisfying experience, so he partnered with Doc and Camel to bring a premium soap to the neighborhood. Washing has become satisfying. The new soap wakes up well and smells good. People now enjoy the pleasant experience and have made it a habit to wash their hands, where washing hands or brushing teeth gives instant gratification. Whereas many other habits there is no gratification. This is called delayed reward environment. For example, we go to lower position every day but paycheck may not get our reward till the end of the month. Similarly, you can start going to gym every morning but you will lose weight and get toned muscles. The benefits of cancer won't be seen until weeks or months later. And other habits that give instant relief can result in cancer. But right now it relieves stress. It's important to have immediate gratification because of the rewards you want to pursue. For example, the author wanted to quit eating habits, so he opened a savings account called Trip to Europe, kept transferring $50 to account B when they avoided budgets outside. Seeing more of the money in their savings created a sense of immediate satisfaction, so it encouraged them to continue with the habit. They found their habit satisfying. And when they finally saved enough money to book their trip, they reaped long-term rewards. Chapter 7. The importance of habit tracking. Breaking a bad habit or implementing a good one can be difficult, though making progress is sometimes satisfying. Dairy tends to make us give up those healthy grabs. Plus, we crave visual proof of progress we can't always see on our own when we quit habits like smoking. Luckily, you can visualize your progress by implementing habit tracking. Here's a simple yet effective technique for measuring how to make sure you're staying on track. Said this technique is nothing new. In fact, Benjamin Franklin successfully tracked his habits at age 20, wherever he went. In his notebook, Franklin followed his 13 personal folds every time he went. His folds included such activities as avoiding touching jeans, but it also included things he should do every day. Just like always doing something useful, Franklin used to record his successes by creating a visual diary of his healthy habits every night. The simplest technique is to use a calendar to mark when you complete your depriving daily habits. If you track your habits through a calendar or diary, you'll find that you're more likely to stick to those habits. Tracking is not only clear and gives you a visual of your progress, but it's also an attractively satisfying habit to have throughout the day. At the end of the day, when you've accomplished everything you set out to accomplish, you'll feel a sense of anticipation going into each day. Research also shows that most people who lose weight lower their blood pressure and track their progress on symptoms such as quitting smoking are more likely to improve than those who do not. Thus, people are more likely to repeat a gratifying experience. Thus, they are also more likely to avoid an experience that is either painful or costly. In other words, behavior is clouded when there is an immediate consequence. For example, university students are more likely to come to class if attendance affects their grades. Students know the consequences of not being present, so they do. Likewise, for helping you build positive habits, the same stars can apply. Chapter 8. Final summary. While many people believe that making big changes is the key to success, it's the little things we do every day that have the biggest impact on our lives. This is easier said than done because creating new habits can be incredibly difficult. Like this video and subscribe to your channel, Booksica. Thank you for listening.